said about himself. So for this season, we'll be discussing the I am sayings of Jesus.
Company in Ortigas.
Okay, game. Tuloy ang ating discussion ng I am the Good Shepherd na nasa John 10:11 to 21. For our listeners, again, if you wanna review the first part of this discussion, you can hear the full episode sa UCM Interface Bible Study sa Spotify at sa YouTube. Now, before we continue, scripture reading muna tayo in 3, 2, 1. John 10:11 to 21. I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that are not of this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason, the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I have received from my Father. There was again a division among the Jews because of these words. Many of them said, "He has a demon and is insane. Why listen to him?" Others said, "These are not the words of one who is oppressed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind?"
Pero tingnan mo itong sinabi niya, "They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd." Anong kahalagahan ng statement na to?
Sinasabi ni Jesus, intimate din siya dun sa other group of people na yon. And for all intents and purposes, walang kaibahan kasi I know my sheep and they know me. Tapos yung sinasabi niya dito sa mga other group na to, they also know me and I know them.
And there will be one flock.
So wala na talagang distinction. Kasi, alam mo, sa mata ng isang Hudyo, ang mundo dalawang grupo lang. Jews and Gentiles. Ganun kasimple sila. Very binary. It's either you're a Jew or you're a Gentile. If you're a Jew, well,
Chosen.
you belong to God's people. If you're a Gentile, wala kang kwenta. Clean and unclean lang naman ang mundo nila eh. Pero ang ganda nitong message ni Jesus. So here, nag-hint na siya. Mas malawak pa ang scope ng ministry ng shepherd. The good shepherd will include the uninvited, the unlovable. The good shepherd will include people that you have considered to be unclean, the undeserving, the rejected.
The people that you consider your enemies.
Yan.
Implicitly, ang sinasabi ni Jesus dito, whatever your standards are, they're not the same as my standards. I'm using a different set of standards here. Kung ano man yung criteria na ginagamit nyo to exclude them or to think that they're inferior or not deserving of me or my salvation, remove all those. Take it away from your mind.
Dahil nga, ang kino-compare niya dito yung sarili niya being the good shepherd and the bad shepherds. Because the bad shepherds have set their own standards. They're claiming moral prerogative.
Kaya pala galit na galit sila, yung mga Pharisees sa kay Jesus eh.
Oo.
Taliwas na taliwas sa ginagawa nila tsaka sa paninindigan nila dun sa yung sinasabi ni Jesus.
Right. So verse 17, pakibasa na lang, Coach.
For this reason, the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again.
Wait, i-clarify natin to. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life. So may condition pala yung love ng Father. Ganun ba yun? Is it contingent upon Christ's loving His sheep?
Naisip ko, the reason why the Father values the Son is because the Son is like this, is someone who is willing.
Ito na yung character niya.
Oh, yun yung character niya.
Parang ito na yung character niya, hindi to condition.
Hindi necessarily because of the act itself. Tama yung sinabi ni Gooch, yung character niya.
Right. Kasi sa Gospel of John, mahalaga na ma-establish muna natin that the Father has loved the Son from the creation of the world. And there's so many references. But to establish that the Father has loved the Son from the very beginning, let's read John 17:24.
Father, I desire that they also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory that you have given me because you loved me before the foundation of the world.
Before the foundations of the world, before the world was created, that love has already existed. Dahil established na yon, ano ngayon ito?
Ano nga ba?
So it's like, ito na yung katotohanan ng character na Jesus Christ. Long before the foundation of the world, ito na yung character niya. And now, in this time of history, lumalabas na siya in action.
So it now finds fulfillment.
Parang ganon.
The Father's love for the Son, that exists before the creation of the world.
And it is a self-sacrificial type of love.
It's a self-sacrificial kind of love. That love finds its fulfillment in God's heart as Jesus gives himself for his sheep. Yun yung expression na. Okay? So, eto na naman. Kasi sabi niya, I lay down my life only to take it up again. Tuloy pa natin sa verse 18 kasi magkakadugtong yan. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. Now, verse 17, I lay down my life. Sinong gumawa?
Jesus.
Meron bang pumilit sa kanya?
Voluntary.
It's voluntary. Siya mismo ang gumawa nito. And then?
That I may take it up again.
Oh,
Meron din siyang authority to take it back.
what was he here referencing?
Resurrection?
His death and his resurrection. Bakit kaya biglang pumasok ito doon? Balikan natin yung context nito. Kasi sabi ni Jesus, siya yung good shepherd. Paulit-ulit na niyang sinasabi, handa akong ibigay ang buhay ko. But then he said, I lay down my life only to take it up again. Why does he have to say that? Maganda na rin naman yung I lay down my life period.
Naisip ko, hindi ba yan yung ine-emphasize niya yung sovereignty niya over everything that happens to him and most especially yun sa kanyang sariling buhay. So, yung authority ko does not just end with just giving it. I am powerful enough to take it back again. Naisip ko din, this is another one of those differentiating factors sa sinasabi ni Jesus versus all other messiahs or supposed saviors who came before and after him. Kasi when someone sacrifices his life, kahit doon sa mga stories, yun na yung end. But Jesus is saying, no, actually, from my death up to when I take it back, it's all me. It's by my power.
Right.
And itong shepherd na to, itong good shepherd na to, malakas to. Hindi mo papatay to.
Kasi pag namatay ka lang, inalay mo yung buhay mo, namatay ka, period, bayani ka. Patatayuan ka na lang ng monumento so people will be inspired by your story. Pero hindi natapos pala dun. Yes, he will die, but he will rise again. Mahalaga yan kasi nga, sino ba kasi yung talagang kalaban ni Jesus? Sino yung enemy niya that he wanted to defeat?
Sin.
Sin, oo. The enemy is sin and its sting, which is death. So, this gives hope to the sheep.
Kasi imagine mo na naman kung yung sheep may shepherd, babait nga yung shepherd, pero
Namatay.
wala naman kapangyarihan. O di, kawawa din yung sheep, di ba? Pag dumating yung malalakas ng wolves. Pero kung yung shepherd is loving enough to give his life, but strong enough to take it up again and defeat his enemies.
Yeah.
Okay tong shepherd na to. Malakas to.
Yeah, maganda sana kung pag-usapan pa yung resurrection, but of course, that will be another episode kasi napakalalim, napakayaman ng implications ng resurrection ni Jesus. But here, he's already hinting, hindi ako basta-basta mamamatay lang, mabubuhay ako ulit. And ako mismo ang may authority nito. He continues, verse 18.
No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I have received from my Father.
He just expanded it, meaning, one, his sacrifice was voluntary.
Yeah.
No one takes his life from him, but he lays it down. And as far as the control, it lies not with other people.
Oh, I have authority.
Siya lang. Of course, we don't have time to talk about the death of Jesus and his suffering. Pero kasi sa punto ng passion ni Jesus, he seemed to be very passive. Na ang active na characters, yung Sanhedrin, si Judas,
Sila
si
Pilate.
Caiaphas, yung mga ganun, diba? Si Pilate. So sila yung active eh.
Ito nga yung I have authority to lay it down and I have authority to take it up again. May specific siyang sinabi kay Pilate sa John 19. So sa dulo na to. So Pilate said to him, "You will not speak to me?" Sabi mo, di ba? Passive si Jesus.
Oo.
Sabi ni Pilate na, "Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you?" Di ba? Parang nasa akin nasa kamay ko ang buhay mo. Tapos sabi ni Jesus sa kanya, "You would have no authority over me at all unless it had been given you from above."
So all these events, all these things that happened, during his passion, hindi ibig sabihin na dahil mukhang passive si Jesus, wala siyang control. Kasi maliwanag na siya pa rin ang may control ng events na yun. And that's really mind-boggling, right? So dito, he is claiming that authority. This is all because it's from the Father. This command I received from my Father. He is a faithful Son. This is God's will and I will obey my Father. Okay, sanabi natin paulit-ulit to eh. I lay down my life. I lay it down of my own accord. I lay it down. Paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi. Tignan natin muna, bakit kaya mahalaga ito? First of all, dun sa kanyang disciples. Siyempre, ang audience dito malawak-lawak no? But the disciples were there also listening.
Kasi di ba meron pa rin silang idea that Jesus is a political ruler or political leader. So, ibig sabihin, ba ina-expect nila sa political leader, the story will end with him on top, on the throne.
Defeating Rome
Or wherever the enemy is.
Yeah.
So, Jesus is already countermanding that narrative and telling them, no, don't be surprised if I, end up dead. If I die, because it's all part of my plan and that's what actually I intend to do. Hindi yun parang it will happen to me, hindi ko na ma-prevent. No. Ang sinasabi ni Jesus, I intend to give up my life. So I guess it's a way of correcting his disciples at the same time trying to strengthen them in the coming days. Kasi may magugulat sila kasi alam niya tataob yung mundo nila.
Right.
Babaliktad yung mundo nila when he dies.
And to add to that, yun yung expectation din nila na pagdating ng Messiah, tatalunin niya yung mga kalaban.
Right.
Yung ini-imagine nila will be the same way that the other kingdoms of the world will do it. Na it's power and glory and dominance. And Jesus, the king, comes and says, no. My kingdom has a different way to do it. And it's going to be through self-sacrifice.
Kaya nga merong isang episode yung unang nagbanggaan si Jesus at saka si Peter. And this happened when Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say I am?" And then they reply, "Oh, you're Elijah, you're so-and-so," ganyan. But when he asked his own disciples and Peter said, "Well, you're the Christ, you're the Messiah." Tama naman, that was a correct identification. Kaya lang, ang sagot ni Jesus, that's when he predicted his death. And then he said, "Well, I'm going to die, and on the third day, the Son of Man will rise again." So that was so confusing, not just to Peter, but also to the disciples. Why? Messiah ka ba't ka mamamatay? Ang kanilang concept, ang imagination nga nila ay itong isang military conqueror, a military hero. Kaso, sinabi ni Jesus, mamamatay ako. Ano ka? That's why Peter rebuked Jesus. Isa pang weird na sinabi ni Jesus because he said, "Well, on the third day he will rise again." What story is that? Saan mo naman binunot niyang script na yan? Because in Judaism, ang popular belief, resurrection will happen at the end of history, not in the middle of history. And so that's when Jesus also rebuked Peter and he said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." What he's saying actually is, yung get thee behind me, and what he's saying is, get back in line. I'm the one who's in charge here, not you. You're opposing God's will. Kaya nga, balikan natin to, anong kahalagahan nito? I will lay it down. Do you remember what happened to Peter later on? Nung itong si Jesus ay hinuli na, nasa bahay na nung high priest, nasaan si Peter?
Nasa crowd, nireject niya si Jesus. I don't know this guy.
Right, diba dininay niya?
Kilala kita, kasama mo yun, di ba?
Oo. Hindi ako yun. Diba? At nung crucifixion, nasaan yung disciples?
Tago.
Maliban kay John, nagtago. They all fled.
I guess because they were expecting na Jesus would be the political king that they expected. And it's like, we're here, we're in this, na tatalunin mo sila and you'll establish a kingdom. And then, nung namatay na, parang, what? What?
Labas na kami
Hindi
dito.
to yung
Labas
script.
na kami dito. Hindi kami kasali dito, ha. Hindi ganyan ang gusto namin. Kaya nga mahalaga to eh. Kanina, may dinidescribe tayo eh. Kaninong behavior yung ganun? Yung when trouble comes, nagtatago.
Sa hired hands.
So the disciples, they all behaved like they were hired hands. They're not behaving like they're true shepherds. Pagpunta natin sa John chapter 21, verses 15 to 17, this was the reinstatement of Peter. Anong sinabi ni Jesus?
When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. He said to him, Feed my lambs. Verse 16, he said to him a second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. He said to him, Tend my sheep. He said to him the third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, Do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Jesus said to him, Feed my sheep.
Oh, man. Parang matindi na yung implications nito.
Diba?
Ikaw na ang shepherd, ha?
Ikaw na ngayon.
Oh, and kung ikaw ay magiging good shepherd, tutularan mo rin yung good shepherd na to and ibibigay mo rin yung buhay mo.
Ay! Ganun pala siya. Kaya pala paulit-ulit sinasabi ni Jesus, I lay down my life. I lay down my life. Kasi nga, itong disciples na nung simula, at para din naman tayo mga disciples, they're always driven by this impulse for self-preservation. Kaya nga nagtago eh. But that is not how a genuine shepherd behaves. Ang genuine shepherd, katulad ni Jesus, at dahil tayo, followers ni Jesus, siya ang model natin. We are also expected to lay down our lives for the sake of others. Paulit-ulit sinasabi niya, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. And he also expects his disciples, members of his flock, to live that cross-shaped life.
Kaya yung implications talaga when we say na let's be more Christ-like, ang bigat nun. Hindi to let's just be nice. Ano itsura nun sa pera natin? Ano itsura nun sa oras natin? Ano itsura nun sa relationships natin? Are we gonna act like hired hands? Andito lang ako pagka prosperity tsaka mga #blessed. Pero pagka problema na, takbo na ako.
Right. Kaya maganda pala tong sinasabi ni Jesus na to, I lay down my life. He's setting the example.
Yeah.
This is how we are to live our lives. Because Jesus is cross-directed. Talagang dun papunta yung buhay niya di ba? And so, we, his followers, are also called to deny ourselves and take up our crosses daily. So we live a cross-shaped life. Kaya tiba yung reaction ng mga tao after Jesus said these words in verses 19 up to 21. Parang medyo nagkagulo-gulo yung audience eh. Sabi, the Jews who heard these words were again divided. So hindi nila maintindihan talaga. Saan ko ba ilulugar tong si Jesus? No? Many of them said, he is demon-possessed and raving mad. Why listen to him? Extreme. Again, identifying Jesus as someone who's colluding with the enemy. Can you imagine these are God's very words, delivering words of eternal life? And this was their response. He's a demon. Yung isang grupo, sabi,
Others said these are not the words of one who is oppressed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind? Nangyayari na yung sinabi ni Jesus, the sheep know me.
exactly.
Kakatapos lang niya magkwento. Hindi pa nila na-gets.
Diba? Exactly. So that's the point. Yung isa, talagang bingi na. Inamin na nila na hindi kami kasama dun sa flock ni Jesus. Pero merong isang grupo na nakikinig pa. And they have a different conclusion. Mas interesado pang malaman kung sino siya. They didn't say exactly that they're agreeing, but at least they could say that, wait a minute. These are not the words of a demon-possessed man. may hope pa tong mga to.
At saka they look at the evidence, yung deeds and words, and try to reconcile them together instead of seeing everything through their own preconceptions. Ano ba
Right.
talaga yung nangyayari? Versus what I think should happen.
Pero kasi kapag set na yung mind mo, kahit pakitaan ka pa ng evidences, facts, even if the truth is presented to you, you will just reject it. Tingnan natin kung ano yung ginawa pa nitong mga religious leaders na to ha. Ito na kasi extreme na eh. Pero dito pa lang kita na natin yung symptom kung bakit nire-reject nila si Jesus. Matthew 28:11 to 15.
Nangyari na yung resurrection. And then while they were going, behold, some of the guard went into the city and told the chief priests all that had taken place. And when they had assembled with the elders and taken counsel, they gave a sufficient sum of money to the soldiers and said, "Tell people his disciples came by night and stole him away while we were asleep. And if this comes to the governor's ears, we will satisfy him and keep you out of trouble." So they took the money and did as they were directed. And this story has been spreading among the Jews to this day. Hindi man lang nila na parang, uy, parang totoo yata yung sinabi niya, no? Alam mo lang ganun, talagang kahit kasinungalingan, okay lang.
Kasi yung sinasabi ni Gunnar kanina, if you weigh everything carefully, his teachings, his deeds, his life, kung rational kang tao, then you will conclude that this man could not be demon-possessed. Pero lumala na ng lumala kasi itong chief priests, elders, even if you present the truth to them, well, he definitely resurrected from the dead. We were witnesses to that, Roman soldiers. Pero anong ginawa nila? No. Let's revise the story. Let's spread disinformation. Because that's the tool of the enemy, to spread lies. When the heart is hardened, kahit ano pang data, facts, evidence,
Ebidensya yan.
ang ipakita mo, wala. Set na ang isip namin. At yun ang nangyari. May good shepherd at may bad shepherds talaga.
Sort of related to that. Since na-mention natin si Peter kanina, ang tumatak na verse sa akin is from 1 Peter 5:1-3. Ito pa nga, yung title pa
okay.
nga nung segment na to is Proper Attitude for Shepherds in the Church.
Yeah.
So I exhort the elders among you, as a fellow elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, as well as a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock. So, ito ang type of leadership, headship, di ba? And I think, especially when we talk about leadership, for example, yung parang, husband is the head of the household, parang ganun. Pero, it's funny because sometimes, sasabihin natin, husband is head of the household or ganito, pero yung definition natin ng leadership, kukunin natin sa mundo at hindi from the Bible. Ano yung definition ng head of the household? Ano ang example ng leader's household? Kunin natin yun outside the Bible at ipasok natin dun sa concept of leadership in the Bible.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. Yung ang weird.
Very weird.
At di sinabi nga ni Jesus mismo, do not lord it over like the Gentiles do.
Right.
Diba? And this is the type of leadership that I will do, which is, ibibigay ko yung buhay ko.
That's a very good point. Kasi sabi niya, don't lord it over kasi ganyan ang paraan ng mga Gentiles.
Oo.
Those are pagans. So the pagan way is to dominate, exploit, to gaslight, diba? Overpower,
To bully.
to bully.
Yeah. And if we are called to lead, to be shepherds, and I think this applies not just to shepherds in the church, but also to families and workplace, government, ganito rin kaya akong type of leader. Kung sasabihin kaya ng mga taong sumusunod sa akin na ganyan si Gutch, na ito ba yung sasabihin ng misis ko? And I think yun yung magbibigay ng security sa kanya na this is why my husband is head of the household, because I know that he is the first one who will give his life. So that's why I can trust him. And we can see that in the extreme na parang, let's say, masunog yung bahay, whatever, or sumalo ng bala. Pero yung tipong, what does that look like in terms of my hobbies or my time or my service or the way that I treat my children or the way that I make decisions for the family? Parang gano'n na mas mahirap siyang isipin na yung araw-araw na dala-dala mo yung self-death na yon in every little decision. But I think that's what we're called to do. Na for me, as a husband, father, sa ministry, bilang sa kaibigan, bilang trabahador, do I serve?
Very good. Yeah, you have anything to add, Gunnar?
No, I think okay na. Nasabi na lahat ni Gooch.
But I think this is very beautiful what Jesus said about himself, that he is the good shepherd precisely because there are bad ones. And his model as the good shepherd, yun ang dapat nating gawin. Tularan bilang followers niya. Because again, lahat tayo, we will have, one way or the other, have shepherding roles. Everyone
Is leading somebody.
you're leading someone. And how do you lead people? By serving them.
Yeah, so I guess that ends our fourth I am saying ni Jesus sa John, the I am the good shepherd sa John 10:11-21. And to our listeners, sabi sa isang kanta, "Oh, the wonderful cross, oh, the wonderful cross, bids me come and die and find that I may truly live." Jesus showed us how it is to truly live, how it is to truly love, how it is to truly lead others, and he set this example by giving his life willingly for us. Kasi siya yung kakaibang hari who came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So when we look to Jesus, masasabi natin talaga, God is good. Kita-kita sa next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye!
You have listened to the UCM Interface Bible Study here at 702 DZAS-FEBC RadyoTV Agapay ng Sambayanan. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 702 DZAS-FEBC RadyoTV, and Facebook account, 702 DZAS-FEBC Radio. Hear our full episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, at marami pang iba. Join us at Union Church of Manila, Rada, Corno Legazpi, Makati City.